Hello and welcome to the Exit Readiness Podcast. My name is Pat Ennis of Ennis Legacy Partners. I'm here with my co-host Walter Dial, who is a partner Gelman, Rosenberg, and Friedman, CPAs here in Bethesda, Maryland. Walter, what's our topic today?
Hey, Pat. I think we have a great topic today. One of my favorite speakers and authors is Simon Sinek. He's the founder of Start With Why. And he basically says, which I think is really true, anybody you talk to, they can tell you what they do. They can tell you how they do it, but few people actually know why they do it. And his comment on this is, he goes on to say, it's one of life's joys to wake up in the morning, every morning, with a clear sense of why that day matters. That is what is meant to find your why. So today we're going to discuss this concept of know your why, and we're going to find out why it's essential for a business owner who wants to exit their business successfully.
Okay, thanks, Walter. And our guest today is Beth Berman, president and founder of Complications. And Beth's going to help us better understand why it's essential for a business owner to know their why in planning their exit. Beth has a marketing degree from George Washington University. She's a global CEO advisor and board member. She's a Vistage speaker, a certified why coach, and she works and lives here in the Washington, D.C. area. Beth, it's great to have you with us. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Let's get started with telling us can you tell us what Complications is, and am I saying it right?
You are.
And how you decided on that name. So what is it, and how did you get the name?
So the name Complications is actually a contraction of compelling communications. Once in a while, I get introduced as Beth Berman from Complications,
Okay.
But it's generally better to refer to it correctly. So it's compelling communications.
Very good.
So, Beth, when I think of communication, you always hear about becoming an effective communicator. So why compelling versus effective?
Well, first let's define the difference. Effective communications are when we come through clearly, you understand the person who's speaking. If there's something to be done, you can follow it. But it doesn't have connection. It doesn't have buy-in. Compelling communications is more about getting people to connect in a way where they want to know more, they want to buy, they want to work with you, work for you, and it's communications that inspires loyalty.
So, in your experience, who is this most important for? What type of people?
Well, who needs to be compelling? Walter's compelling, clearly. Who else, Beth, besides Walter, needs to be compelling?
Well, since we're on a business podcast, I'll start with business leaders. To have influence over others and to connect them and inspire loyalty, again, we need to foster connection, create buy-in. People who are selling, people who are trying to influence others, whether it's an executive in transition, a parent, a colleague who wants to partner on something. The idea of being able to connect in a way where people want to lean in towards you, they believe in what you're saying, they want to be a part of it, and they want to commit to your success and maybe even invest in it. That's where compelling is important for just about everybody, but particularly with leaders. If we want our teams to buy in, if we want them to pull together behind a common vision, goal, and so forth, we really do need to be compelling.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So what do you think makes a person compelling?
A person is compelling when, at minimum, they're clear, they can be understood. When they can connect it's really at the level of sixth grade English, when you take away the fancy terms, you take away all the brags, and really, this is what we do with what we offer. We've got 5 beautiful offices and the best professional staff. Everybody's saying the same thing. It's really when we can take it to the next level.
Okay.
Yeah, so as you know, we work with business owners, and
Yes.
we want to help them exit successfully. And a big part of that is building value
Yes.
that's transferable. And so it's clear then from your definition of compelling leaders, business development, sales, partners, managers, all of those people who need to be influential. And so henceforth need to be compelling. A business owner then needs to be compelling.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, what about a business?
A business itself needs to be compelling.
Does it work the same way?
It does work the same way because in this day and age, there are, we've got competitors at our customers' and clients' fingertips. We've got competitive employers. We've got competitive providers, service providers, products. Technology has enabled us to have a barrage constantly, and people are constantly trying to pull us away from companies we identify with. But if we can get behind a connection that goes deeper with a company, and we can instill that in our customers, we can instill that in our people, that's where we're going to get long-term commitment. That's where the playground-like perks at another company may make us open our eyes, but we'll be more resilient to them, we're more resistant to them, and really be thinking about, I believe in what I'm doing, I believe in what this company's doing, so I want to stay here, or I believe in what this company stands for, so I'll travel another 1.5 miles or 3 miles to get there, and I might even spend more to be a part of the cult that they've created of people who believe what they believe.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of that sounds like, to be compelling, you need to know your why.
Absolutely.
Okay. So how do you do that? How do you help clients clarify their why?
Well, it starts at the top. And the way that we do it, initially I work one-on-one with a leader and delve into not a recitation of what lights them up, because actually I should take a step back. The why isn't necessarily our global purpose in life. The why is what brings us the feeling of success. It's what inspires us, it's what people rely on us for. It's what people are going to, when people are going to be placed in their zone, when they're aligned with it. So, for instance, my why is to make an impact, and it's a very outward-focused why. It's about making a positive, rippling impact on leaders and teams. If you put me in a box where I'm doing process, and every day that's my job, I'm not going to connect to it. So.
Right.
So it starts with a leader at the top and discovering their why, not through a recitation or a series of questions about what lights you up, what's most important, where's your motivation come from, but rather drilling down stories in a very specific way to get at the emotional part of the brain, which is, by the way, where decisions are made. So that's why all this connection is important. But getting to what in the end gets them out of bed, what in the end makes them feel successful, what in the end is their own personal why, and that sets the tone for the entire business. So the next steps are workshop-based, and we have people on our teams who are wired differently. My why, as I said, is to make an impact. Yours may be to, Walter, may be to create clarity out of complex things and give people a path out. And you, Pat, might be all about building relationships. I don't know that yet, but when we're on a team and we discover each other's why in a workshop, we start to learn about each other. We're talking about feelings. We're talking about things that make us feel successful. So we bond. And then in addition to bonding in that way, we create very clear, compelling messages in 6th grade English that say, this is why I do what I do. This is how I bring it to you in my specific role and our specific relationship. And then this is what I do. And the what becomes unimportant. That undifferentiated piece becomes unimportant. It's really about the full package you bring. So in the workshop, the teams pull together, they come away with great language that they can use in business development, they can use in leadership, and they can put on LinkedIn or places on their website. But they also then come together and create a collective why message for the business. So you say, does it matter for a company? Absolutely it matters for a company. And when you can communicate that in a way where it's clear, it's concise, it's sixth grade English, that it doesn't have to be processed, it goes right in, and people understand what it's going to look like when they work with you. They understand if they resonate with what you're going to bring. So again, going back to the example, if you're all about developing relationships and connection and trust, and I want a number cruncher to get me out of my exit in the best possible way, that relationship won't be productive. Do you agree?
Mm-hmm.
It's important that we, as a business and individuals within a business, that we connect to what's behind, the why behind the business, and also that we bring our individuals' whys together in the right seats, collectively valuing our differences rather than being pulled apart by our differences, and communicating in a compelling way.
Well.
And that's workshop 1.
And then there's another?
There's another. The other goes toward that common vision, articulated very clearly in 12 words or less, looking at ideal clients in a totally different way, and connecting based on the path that we understand about our clients beyond our product and service, but where they are now and what in the end they want. So you're dealing with people who are looking at exit. Some of them are looking to flip their business and start another. Others are looking for security, a legacy. Others are looking for being able to make a radical change in the world. When you can get behind that and get their people behind it, that's where things are going to percolate. That's where productivity goes up. That's where you attract the right client. And so it all comes together to create language for elevator pitches and taglines and belief statements and videos and so forth. And I've been in communications and marketing for a very long time over different careers in sales and marketing, in job search coaching and recruiting, in personal branding and so forth. And this extra level of connection that comes from going deep, coming from the why, has been the most revolutionary change. And I love the work. It's great because I see the impact right there in the room.
Yeah, it's the same way Pat and I feel about the exit planning. You can really make an impact in people's lives, which makes it really, really gratifying and exciting. So a lot of what you said, it's kind of obvious how this relates to a business owner who's looking to exit, but what can you add to that specific situation?
So in addition to adding value, often when a company is looking to exit, there's going to be a merger, an acquisition. There's going to be a transfer of people somewhere along the line. How is that new team going to come together? How are they going to get behind a common cause? If the language isn't there, if the internal and external language isn't there, how are they going to be able to bond, be at their best, and get others to buy in, buy more?
Yeah, so hey, Beth, what's your why? And what is Compellications, the why of Compellications?
So my why is to make a profound positive impact pretty much on anyone that I come in contact with. But from a business standpoint, I've learned to discipline myself and really focus my energy of making a positive impact where the impact can be greatest rather than trying to help everyone. So my business why is to create a profound positive rippling impact on leaders and teams. And how I bring that is by being able to help them answer the key questions. Why you? Why now? Why buy? All of those kinds of questions to bring a unique energy into the room. As you probably already know, I bring a unique energy. Some people call it contagious. And the ability to draw people, when I work with you, it's the ability to draw people out, have them get inside themselves, but willing to also come out of themselves and then create this great language. So that's what I do, and it creates this in-the-room impact. And in the end, it's workshops, it's coaching, it's speaking, doesn't really matter the vehicle. The impacts are the same, and that's how I do it.
And who's your ideal client?
My ideal client are much like the two of you. They are forward-thinking, excellence-seeking leaders who care about their people, who care about letting their people know they matter, who care about connecting their customers on a deeper level so that they buy. They're the kind of leaders who may have already done personality tests, or they run leadership programs, or they do retreats. They're people who are always working on getting better.
Yeah, so, we, in helping our clients plan a successful exit or to exit on their own terms and conditions, as I mentioned earlier, we talk a lot about building value. Yeah. And the foundation of that really is what that owner's goals and objectives are on a personal level as well as on a business level. And we talk a whole lot about values.
Yes.
Values. What do you value personally? What do you value in light of your business? And henceforth culture. And it sounds like everything that you've talked about here today, Beth, correlates right along with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely it does. It all goes to vision, values, mission. This is getting at a foundational level, a level that not only lights people up on the team, each person on the leadership team, and then if you drill it down, the people working for them, but it also connects people in a way that they matter. And especially as we're building value with millennials on our teams, they want to matter. So absolutely, it's totally complementary. When we connect what lights them up with what the company's about, and they can see how they contribute through their own lens, that creates that connection. So, the whole point of vision, values, mission, same thing. It's just a different foundational level to get at that. They should emanate from, and it's complementary.
Yeah, so if they're listeners and they are tracking along with us here, with you, and they're interested in learning more, interested in getting you involved with helping them either identify their why or maybe further clarifying it, how can they contact you?
Well, they can connect with me on LinkedIn. They can call me on 240-560-YOU-WIN, and that's a nod to my dad, who always said, "You're a pearl, you're a winner." And in case the digit translation isn't there, it is 240-560-8946, and my email is beth@compellications.com, COMPELLICATIONS.com. A little long, but still the name.
Well, thank you again, Beth, for joining us today. Great content. You're a great guest. And yes, absolutely. Your energy is contagious. I've known you for a while now and completely can attest to that. Walter, what do you think business owners should take away today from this discussion as it pertains specifically for exiting a business?
Yeah, I think it's been a great discussion. Thank you very much, Beth. It's really been it's been great. The one thing I was thinking as you were talking was a lot of what we've been talking about is a business owner understanding their why, why they get up and go to work, why they're building their company. But I think just as important, and this is an area where Pat is really great at, is helping business owners identify their why for their post-ownership years.
Yes, yes.
That's probably even
That's
more
a great point. Yes.
So,
yes, the statistics are alarming as to how many business owners regret selling after a couple of years because they didn't do this, what we've been talking about here.
Yep.
Right.
So that would be my takeaway, is that we spend a lot of time talking about the financial readiness of a business to exit, but there's a lot of, I don't know if it's psychological or whatever you want to call it, but people need to know what they're doing, why they're doing what they're doing. And it's even more critical, I think, once you're at the post-business owner stage.
Yes, and also transitioning to the new business so that it retains its value. And that's why before I mentioned executives in transition, I include exiting leaders in that category.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, so Beth, I want you to grade us on this, okay? So this is Walter and I, our why, if you will, in regard to the work we do in helping business owners exit. So a business owner, a successful business owner, has phenomenal impact on a lot of different people, right? They create wealth that impacts their family. The work they do, if they're successful, impacts their customers, their employees and their families, their vendors, their suppliers, the community, the local economy. The impact is massive and far-reaching. And so there is so much at stake when they exit. All that's been built over sometimes decades is at stake, not just for them personally, but for all those stakeholders.
Yes.
And so we get up in the morning excited about helping you, the business owner, be as successful and as impactful in exiting as you have been in building.
Love it.
Transitioning all of that great, wonderful fruit and impact in a way that's going to be as powerful as it's been along the way in building the company. So what do you think about that? Is that a good why?
I think we share the same why, to have a powerful, positive, rippling impact.
Okay, wonderful.
and it's, of course, it resonates with me.
Okay, well, wonderful. Well, that's a great wrap-up for today. If you'd like to speak with Walter, you can reach Walter at 301-951-9090. You can reach me at 301-943-8203. Special thanks to Charlie Burney and Joe Ennis and the Podcast Village for hosting us today. Thanks again to our great guest, Beth Berman. And thank you, folks, for tuning in. Until next time on the Exit Readiness Podcast, this is Pat Ennis and Walter Dial signing off. Thank you.